If you're experiencing these 4 symptoms, something's going on with you as a man. That's waking up in the morning with a sad banana, not having enough energy throughout the day, brain fog, and trouble sleeping. These are all connected to having low testosterone. So today we're going to be talking about some more pharmaceutical-based ways to boost your testosterone without having to do testosterone replacement therapy. The previous video I made is all about herbs. Today we're going to be talking about pharmaceuticals. So let's get into it. What's going on? My name's Andy J, and I'm here to support aging millennials so we can feel our best, feeling better than we did in our 20s. That's what we're here for. Again, today we are going to be talking about some more pharmaceutical-based ways to boost our testosterone without having to rely on testosterone replacement therapy. The reason why I wanted to make this video is because there's nothing wrong with TRT, but if you take it long-term, you are going to suppress your natural production of testosterone. So what I like to do is experiment with different types of chemicals and supplements and other things to help in a way, sort of pseudo-naturally boost our testosterone levels. So today I'm going to be talking about some more pharmaceutical-based options that can help naturally allow the body or sort of coax the body into producing testosterone. But the benefit of this is you're not going to suppress your natural testosterone production. It's not going to be like TRT, which the body begins to get lazy and it stops producing testosterone on its own. So let's get into these details. And I almost forgot, before I get into the content, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so you're notified with future videos coming out, because I'm trying to do a whole series now on different ways of boosting testosterone so you have the most options present to make the best decision you can possibly make, so you feel well empowered to be able to feel your best, feeling better than you did in your 20s. And one other quick thing before getting into the content, please comment on if you've used any specific herbs or any specific pharmaceuticals in your experience about that, because again, we are trying to build a community here and we're supposed to support each other and helping each other out and providing your thoughts and experience, because all of the information you can provide here will help uplift all of us and allow us to make the best decisions possible so we feel empowered to feel our best. So the first substance I want to talk about is human chorionic gonadotropic. It's a mouthful. I had to do a few takes on that because I keep screwing it up, because what I usually call it is hCG. That's the easiest way to know it. Now, hCG is actually produced by both men and women, but it's produced in large amounts by pregnant women actually. What's interesting about it is it produces a similar action as luteinizing hormone in the body, which then stimulates the production of testosterone in men. So there are some men who actually, for whatever reason, have some genetic defect and cannot produce testosterone because there's an issue with their luteinizing hormone, and they actually have to supplement with hCG to be able to produce enough testosterone. But they produce naturally through this process. It's what's I like to say pseudo-naturally. They can produce this testosterone, and their levels are actually quite good by just taking hCG. Also, men who have taken steroids for long periods of time or taking testosterone replacement therapy for long periods of time rely or use hCG to help stimulate their natural production of testosterone as well. So if you find that your testosterone levels are a little bit low and you don't want to take TRT, this can be an alternative to see how this can possibly increase your testosterone levels. You can basically take it intramuscular, meaning injecting it into the muscle, or subcutaneously, so you can inject it into the fat. So it is actually fairly easy to take. You can use an insulin syringe, and it's very painless if this was an alternative that seemed interesting to you. Now, as far as some side effects are concerned, some side effects that are experienced are headache, fatigue, depression, mood swings, and also the potential of gynecomastia, which could be, if you're increasing your testosterone levels too high, there can be a conversion of estrogen, which could actually create man boobs. So this is another reason why I always say it's very, very important to do lab work, because if you're taking too much of this, you might be increasing your testosterone levels too much. If you're keeping them in the healthy range, you shouldn't experience man boobs, but it is something I want to bring up, so I'm thorough with this presentation. The next drug that I want to bring up is called Enclomiphene. So this particular drug is considered a SERM, which is the acronym for non-steroidal select estrogen receptor modulator. What this drug does is it naturally will direct the production to allow the body to produce testosterone on its own. There's a similar drug, to not get it confused with clomiphene. So this is enclomiphene, and then there's clomiphene. Clomiphene has been around a lot longer, but there tends to be more side effects with it. Tends to be more issues related to extra production of estrogen with clomiphene. But the drug that I'm talking about is enclomiphene, which has less of these side effects. So how enclomiphene works is it blocks the estrogen receptors in the hypothalamus in the brain. This results to an increase in GnRH. GnRH stimulates the pituitary gland, which triggers the release of more luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. Those two specific hormones then go downstream and promote the production in the testes to produce testosterone pseudo-naturally. So some side effects to mention with this particular drug: you may experience hot flashes, visual disturbances, nausea, mood changes. Now everyone's a little bit different, but just have to mention that. But the considerations is clomiphene is well tolerated, and as long as you monitor your hormone levels, like I said before, you should be good to test this out. You just want to be very careful. Again, you want to just be monitoring your testosterone levels, your total and free testosterone levels at a minimum, seeing how your body is responding to this specific drug. That way you're making sure that your levels aren't getting out of whack and that you're in a healthy range. Doing so, side effects or any symptoms of side effects should be pretty minimal or non-experienced. I've experimented with both of these drugs that I've mentioned so far and experienced no side effects. So because I make sure that I keep them at low amounts and that I monitor my hormone levels. Now, the final substance I want to talk about is called pregnenolone, and this is actually a hormone. The reason why I think this is an extremely safe hormone to supplement is because it is so upstream, meaning it is converted into many different types of hormones down certain pathways in the body, that it doesn't really suppress your own endogenous production. So if you supplement with pregnenolone, you don't actually decrease your own pregnenolone production. And if you do, it's by very small or marginal amounts. So it's extremely safe. It's extremely safe to take in high doses, versus if you supplement with testosterone, you are going to suppress your own testosterone production by supplementing with it. So this is why pregnenolone is a safer option. Pregnenolone is naturally produced in the adrenal glands mostly, and it is converted from cholesterol in our body. So what this is basically is I'll see if I can find a good picture to put up on the screen, but pregnenolone is basically converted. They sometimes call this the mother hormone because it is converted into so many different sex hormones downstream, even testosterone. And that's why I'm bringing this up in this particular video. What's also really interesting is pregnenolone helps support the natural stress pathways. So pregnenolone can either be turned into cortisol, a stress hormone, or it can be turned into sex hormones. So if, for example, we're under a lot of stress, it tends to help balance that stress pathway and then get more hormone going into the sex hormones. So you're able to produce more testosterone or more DHEA, these anabolic hormones we need to build muscle and feel good. Now, as far as how much to take, you take it orally, so they're usually in capsule form, and anywhere from 5 milligrams to 100 milligrams daily is the typical recommended dose. I guess there's also creams. I've never personally seen them, but I guess they sell them on the market. I've experienced and taken myself the oral supplements, but I've also heard, and again, this isn't medical advice, but I've also heard people taking upwards of multiple grams of pregnenolone without any negative side effects. So it is very flexible as far as how much you can take, depending on how stressed you are and what's going on with your hormones. You may need to take more to be able to get enough down into the sex hormones instead of all of it being routed over into your stress hormone pathways. So it's a lot of experimentation that needs to be done, so you know how much is the right dosage for you. As far as the research goes, as far as how much testosterone is produced from supplementing from pregnenolone, it's a little bit of hazy because, again, being that it's so upstream, this particular hormone can be converted into so many different other hormones. So it's very difficult to know if it's actually contributing or by what amount. So sometimes it's not that significant, but I think as far as all of the three types of substances we talked about in this video, pregnenolone is by far the safest one because it's a natural hormone and it's so upstream that it won't dysregulate your other hormones. So again, I'm going to do a quick summary, and then after this, I'll talk about ways you can actually test. So if you decide to take any of these substances, so you can actually test your testosterone levels to see if it's actually doing something. So in summary, first we talked about hCG. This mimics luteinizing hormone, which will then stimulate the production of testosterone in your testes. Then there's enclomiphene, which does something very similar, but it will basically stimulate the release of luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone, which then downstream will produce testosterone in the testes. Then we have the pregnenolone, which is actually a hormone, but it is a hormone that won't block your own hormone production. And it can help make other anabolic hormones like DHEA. It can help make testosterone. It can also help support your stress pathways so your body won't take resources from your hormone pathways to make cortisol, so it can help balance your stress pathways. So this is probably the safest recommendation of the three that you can experiment with. And the final piece is as far as testing. So what I've said before is with any of these substances, if you do decide to take them, and I will try to put some links in the description so you can have some references if you would like to take these. Obviously, as a disclaimer, get permission from your doctor, but I'm just going to be talking about this from educational purposes only. For your total testosterone, what I recommend is there's a large range of what you want to test for, but I like to try to push towards 1,000 nanograms over deciliters because at that level, I notice that men generally we feel our best when it's closer to that level than lower. So it's something to reach for as we're working on our labs. As far as free testosterone goes, anywhere close to 26 nanograms over deciliters is a good benchmark for that. You can also test your estradiol, your E2, to make sure your estrogen's not getting too high. Obviously, we want to prevent man boobs, but you also don't want your estrogen levels to be too low. So it is something good to monitor. And then there's some other ones like sex hormone binding globulin. You can monitor your luteinizing hormone. You can monitoring your follicle stimulating hormone, making sure those are close to the reference ranges just to make sure that everything is functioning properly and your hormone levels aren't getting too out of whack. So I hope you found that useful. I'm going to be posting some other video links right here. So there are going to be other videos that are similar to these videos to help support your journey so you can continually optimize your hormones so you can feel your best. Because as we are aging millennial men, we tend to see our hormones begin to drop. So all of these techniques and strategies, you can kind of pick and choose and have your own grab bag of different options so you can start to boost your hormones and feel honestly even better than you did when you were younger with this information. So let me know if you have any other questions. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, so we can continually build this new community of men trying to empower ourselves so we can feel awesome and sexy and feel even better than we did when we were younger. Other than that, hit that bell icon so you're notified. And I hope you're having a fantastic day. We're all here together to uplift each other so we can feel our best. And I will talk to you soon.